history right now. This is such an amazing turnout. You know, don't think for 1 minute they have their minds made up. They might, but they're politicians, okay? They're about getting the vote at the next election. And they might have their mind made up about, you know what, I don't care about equal parenting. But when they see a group like this, and they hear all night testimony from mothers, from sisters who didn't get equal, because this doesn't just affect fathers, it might primarily affect fathers. There's 10% of women out there who only get every other weekend, you know, because that's just what the judge does. One parent gets most of the time, the other parent gets every other weekend. So it's bad for women, it's bad for dads, it's bad for kids, especially who get caught in the fight, who get drugged through court, who get alienated from one other parent or the other. So stay encouraged. This is amazing. We are showing the rest of the nation that this is a movement that's not going away. We are just getting started. I believe it will pass this year. We got 22 bipartisan co-authors. But if it doesn't, we have set the stage for next year. We've already laid the groundwork. It's just getting better and better each year. This is going to encourage other states who are doing the same thing. They're going to see, you know, hey, Texas in 15, they might have been one author for the bill. But now, 6 years later, we got 22 authors. This is a movement that they can't ignore. They cannot, this is inevitable, okay? This is happening, okay? It's just a matter of time. And so when I get up there and testify, I'm gonna, you know, kind of highlight, you know, you're gonna hear from people with personal stories. Mothers who got taken from their kids. Dads who got taken from their kids. Grandmothers who can't see their grandkids. Psychologists who say this hurts children. You know, you're going to hear from, you know, doctors and attorneys who say this creates conflict and clogs the court system. But ultimately, what I want you to know, committee members, is that history is watching. All right? In 50 years from now, people are going to look back and say, oh, kids didn't get to see their parents equally? Who prevented that from passing? There were people who stopped that bill from passing. And the history books are going to show what committee members stopped equal parenting or delayed it. It's going to be like women's right to vote, you know. History's going to look back and say, who was against that? You know, do you committee members, do you want the history to look back and say, you stood up as a committee, Representative Neave, Chairwoman Neave, this was your first, you know, time as a committee chairwoman, and you took the bull by the horns and you passed a bill that changed the world, changed history. Do you want history to look back and say you did that, or do you want history to look back and say y'all killed it? Y'all killed the inevitable. Y'all stood against history, the future.
Equality.
For what? Equality. You know, you we're such a great group of people from all sides. We got fathers' rights. We got dad talk. We got Texas Fathers' Rights Movement. We've got Moms for Shared Parenting. This year we have done such a good job combating the Bresnans and the Family Law Foundation, who year after year they would shut us down by saying, this is anti-women. Well, this year we got all the women, you know, to have their voices really be heard, because this isn't just about dads. This is actually about women's equality. Representative Neave is a big women's rights activist. Well, guess what? You can't be for women's equality if you believe women should be the only people in the kitchen cooking the food, taking care of the kids. When parents split, courts tell women you can't go have a job because you are the one that needs to stay home and take the kids. The father can go make money and live his life. You take care of the kids. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you know, was quoted in a case, you know, or quoted in I think one of her books, stating that women cannot achieve true equality until they're equal with men in the household. And that's true. Emma Johnson, Moms for Equal Parenting, she makes a great case and a great foundation for the pay gap in America is primarily due to courts tell mothers, you gotta stay home with the kids. Dads, you go make the money to pay child support. Instead of parents equally co-parenting and both having to take the kids to school, the courts are telling women that you stay home, you can't have a job, you're the one who goes and takes the kids to school each day. You cannot make the same pay as men because you don't have that same opportunity. But if you make men and women equal,
are for House Bill
taking care of the
803.
children, not only will it help
This
the
is
children,
just a meeting
because they get to see both parents equally, but it actually
before
helps women's
the committee
equality
hears us.
too. So we have just knocked it out of the ballpark, showing that this is not just a man issue. This is a women's issue. This is a kid's issue. This is a grandparent's issue who can't see their grandkids. This is a society issue. The amount of fighting, the amount of bankruptcies, the amount of spending all your money and going to court to fight over kids. So many parents are relying on government programs to just pay their food, put food on their table, because they don't have money to take care of their own kids anymore because they spent it all in court. You know, this is about society, this is about equality, this is about the inevitable. This is happening. Committee members, are you going to be on the wrong side of history or on the right side? Because no one will remember, you know, whatever reason it was that you voted against equal parenting. They're just going to remember you voted against it. You delayed it. And, you know, and then now, 50 years later, they're going to look back in history and say, you know, wow, equal parenting is so great. Kids get to see both their parents equally. Who was against that? Oh, Representative so-and-so. That will be the future. So let's be on the right side of history. Let's vote this thing out. Everyone be encouraged. This delay is not, the committee has not canceled the hearing. They're just voting on stuff in the House. They're going to come back. You will be heard. We're in it for the long haul. We'll be here all night if necessary. You will be able to be heard. They cannot stop you from testifying. You have to be able to be heard. If they let one person testify, they have to let everyone who signs up testify, even if it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So,
yeah, with that,
stick around.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day. That's one of the reasons we wanted to bring everybody in. It's going to be a long day. You know, if you've got parking issues, I would try and take care of them earlier than later.
We probably still have a good hour before they meet back.
At least an hour.
I can't imagine they meet back until after lunch.
And they're going to hear the other bills first. And I know that's frustrating, but understand their job is to also get all the other bills through. And if they put ours first and the rest of them don't get heard, then they're going to get grief from that side also. So plan for it to be a long day. The one thing I'll ask is, hey, let's not give into the narrative that we're angry parents.
Yep.
Let's show grace. Let's show compassion. Let's show patience today. Let's show them who we are. We know we're not the angry parents that come to the Capitol and make threats and make a scene. We're the concerned parents that are here to be the voice of our children. We can't be the voice of our children if we're fitting their narrative. You know, so plan for a long day. I'm waiting on a link. There is a link where if you have to leave, you can still submit written testimony. I should have that here shortly. But again, no, there's going to be delays. There's going to be breaks. There's going to be pauses. If we get word that it's going to be a while and people can go to lunch, I promise you we'll let you guys know as soon as we get that information. But again, having you guys here today, I mean, this is amazing support. This is what the community is about. It's about everybody showing up. Today was a showing up time and y'all did. So from my kids, thank you. Thank you for being here and being a voice for your children. So who has questions?
One thing I'm going to do when I testify is I'm going to ask them to
So
pass
this is
this
everybody
out of
for
committee
House Bill
today, because
803,
we don't want it to stall.
and
I mean, just because we have a
see all the
hearing doesn't mean
people.
they're not going to stall it. So ask them to
And
pass
there's more
it to the
people
floor.
coming and more people outside.
Otherwise, it could sit there for another week, and we just don't have a week.
Yeah.